got to tune in for the NFL Young Boys show tomorrow at 7.
No, man, absolutely. And we are glad that you said that because it is time to talk a little bit about that matchup. And I'm excited too, man, because we should get a chance to see some good quality players over there, man. With the Jacksonville Jaguars, they've already played 2 preseason games thus far. They had the Hall of Fame game. I forget who they played in that Hall of Fame game. Off the top
Raiders.
Of my head. Raiders, that's what it was. Good call. And then just last week they were playing against the Cleveland Browns. Shout out to the homie Josh Dobbs. But in terms of some of the guys that we will be seeing, definitely Trevor Lawrence. He's gonna be playing. He played, I think it was a quarter last game. Travis Etienne, he's another guy that I'm really excited to see play out there against us, man. The different things that he'll bring to the table. The receivers as well, man. Got some quality guys, man. So it'll be a good test for our DBs. In terms of guys like Marvin Jones, Laquan Treadwell, Zay Jones as well, Christian Kirk, the new money down that way. Shout out to the old teammate and stuff like that. Also, man, up there offensive line, new revamped O-line in the sense that, this should be a good test for some of these young pass rushers to see, can you take what you're doing in practice or have done in practice into the stadium? That will be good, man, because their offensive line, they have some quality players, not like they're world beaters, but this is going to be a good, just quality test for us on the defense side of the ball. Then on offense, I'm loving what we're going to get a chance to see from our edge or our tackles. They're going to face Travon Walker, who I think already has 2 sacks in this preseason thus far, putting together a nice little thing, showing that he can get after these quarterbacks.
Josh Allen in the South.
Absolutely. Definitely got Josh Allen, the other Josh Allen. Then you also got Kalon Chasen as well, the cat that was at LSU a couple years ago. And I want to say our former Steeler is down there as well. Yeah, Jameer.
Yep,
Jameer Jones is down that way, man.
Revenge game.
So that's going to be a good test, though, to see how our tackles, stand up against them. Dan Moore and Chooks, more importantly, because Josh Allen, he's shown that we know he can do this in this level or at the NFL level. And Trayvon thus far in the preseason has been showing that he's one of those guys looking like he's going to be able to have some success rushing the passer. But at the inside linebacker spot, I'm loving that too, man. Chad Muma, you got Devin Lloyd down there. What's the cat that just came from Atlanta? I forgot how to pronounce his name. Foyesade Oluka.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's good from Atlanta. Yeah, he just came over there this offseason. So that's also going to be good. And then even on their outside, Shaquille Griffin, it's a good corner, so just in terms of
Tyson Campbell, they drafted him pretty early last year. He's got a lot of talent.
Absolutely, man. So just seeing what that looks like, their secondary is on paper they got it. It's enough to where we'll get a chance to get a better evaluation of our guys. I like this for us in terms of learning about ourselves a lot more than that Seattle game last week. I think that
so you're saying Jacksonville is better than Seattle. That's
where
we're at.
Roster wise, they are. Yes,
looks like it.
They are roster wise. No doubt.
Man,
yeah,
top to bottom, outside of receivers, probably.
Yeah.
Running back, maybe it's borderline, maybe it's arguable, but holy hell, I think you're right. And they're going to play these guys because they're a young team. They got a new coach.
And you remember, man, Etienne, he was, drafted 1 pick right after Najee. I know that was one of the dudes when we were both kind of 50-50 on these backs going into the draft day. You ended up saying Najee. I ended up saying Etienne.
Right.
Etienne, the only thing was we had the Liz Frank, right? I don't even think he got into the preseason
game.
He
missed the whole season.
I don't think he got into the game. I think it was in practice he did the Liz Frank, so we never even got a chance to see him play out there. Now, thus far in the preseason this year, he's looking like the Etienne that came out of Clemson in terms of the speed, the burst, the vision and stuff. So I'm just excited to see how a Miles Jack revenge game looks, against him. Yeah. Even a Devin Bush in certain elements. I really want Devin to have to match up with him in some capacity.
Or James Robinson.
Just to learn about him. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if Robinson will play. He might be banged up a little bit, right?
Yeah, he's been a little banged up. So, but I do want to see, though, with Devin, it's like, man, all right, this is another young, athletic, freak running back. When you were drafted, it was for you. This is why we brought you here, for that type of stuff. Let's just see, man. Come on. We're going, for better or worse, let's learn. For better or worse, you're either going to pick it up and do it this year or you're not. Is that not the case? Yeah. So what better time than now to figure out if he can do it?
You're saying last chance?
I'm not saying last chance, but what I'm saying is I would love to go out there and just see it happen, either yay or nay. Either you can do it or you can't. Is this not one of those type of dudes that we brought him in here for? Is this not one of the type of dudes that if we're going to say, hey, let's evaluate Devin, you're either going to be encouraging this guy or you're going to be blitzing on this guy. So if he's cooking you in rush, you better be cooking him in this rush. Like, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Is there something I'm missing here with Bush? Because last year I actually thought he started off pretty good, like in the Bills game week 1.
No, you're not missing something. It was just, when you talk about the accumulation, though, that's the hard part. Like, it's hard for people to separate week-by-week performances where you can praise a guy in certain elements versus his whole body of work not being good enough.
I just don't get how we got to that point, though. Because the excuses are coming off the ACL, being rusty and stuff. But, like, I thought he played really good week 1 against the Bills.
But think about when we would come up here and talk about that, and people would say, oh, he's coming off the ACL. It's not that much time. And I'm telling you, hey, when I watch him on tape, he's not moving like a guy that is struggling athletically. He's moving like a guy that doesn't know where he is going. Those are two very different things. But when, that was kind of how they wanted to go with the excuse. That's why they kept bringing that up later on. And
I've probably brought it up too.
You did. And then it was when Jerry O's wife died. Then it was like, oh, well, the coach's wife died. And it's like, I mean, I get it, but it's like, bro, we come up with a lot of like, yeah, he ain't the only one that is affected by these similar things. And it's just like, I get it. But, man, eventually you got to say, are you a player or are you not? And that's kind of what it comes down to.
Also, talk about the running backs. Little tight end matchup.
Yeah, heck yeah, man.
Borderline receiver out there.
Yeah, they moved with the Giants, man. He was filthy. Well, he should have been filthy, but in terms of like his athletic ability,
injured
he
too
some
much.
Mismatches. Yeah,
didn't really have the quarterback stability up there.
I tell you what, though, Trevor was looking kind of decent.
He's gonna be good.
Yeah, he definitely looks like he's coming into form, man. In this year too, got some weapons around him, got some protection around him. Yeah, you can see the confidence, man. His ability to throw on the run, his ability to just, I mean, they was running some zone read stuff with him. Like, you see, what he's really capable of. It's starting to show. So I'm excited to see what he looks like this year, man.
Yeah, I got Jacksonville, actually. Now, I'm sure we're going to be doing our division breakdowns, but I kind of got them as a sleeper team heading into this year.
No, I can see
Doug
that, bro.
Peterson, I think, is the perfect coach for this type of scenario. You saw what he did with the Eagles his first couple years there. His first couple years there. And then when things started to get bad is, in year, like, whatever it was, 3 or 4 after they won a Super Bowl. But in terms of him, like, reinvigorating a program.
He definitely
and
did.
Bringing some spark, I could see it happening
and with
in
the young quarterback, because he had Wentz up there. Now you got Trevor Lawrence down there. Very similar in terms of, the hype around those dudes. They're physical tools. Both of them dudes, big, strong arms, can run. So, yeah, if you're Doug, I mean, I think this is a really dope situation. But I just like the way they built that roster up. And that's the part for me where I'm like, man, seeing...
Because even on defense, Devin, you're
right.
Inside linebacker, or across the board, they got talent. And we were even saying this last year with them. I know we played them in 2020. We didn't play them last year.
Yeah, we didn't play them last year, yeah.
Even if you looked at their roster, we were talking about trading for, whatchamacallit?
The corner.
C.J. Henderson. So, like, whenever we looked at them, I'm like, they got talent. This is just a terrible scenario with Urban Meyer. It's just, like, an absolute mess. Because I saw them, they competed with the Bengals that one Thursday night.
Absolutely. And then we saw them beat the Colts when they had to have it.
Exactly.
That was the other part of it. The Colts had to get the win, and they was like, nah, we're going to go out there and get a win. We can go out there and beat you. Also, I forgot they got the safety out there from 2 years ago, Andre Cisco. He's another dude, man. Yeah. They got some players, though, bro. And that's the thing, like, so when I'm thinking of some of these matchups, man, to me, George Pickens, this is one of those ones where I want to see that continued development. I hope he gets Shaquille Griffin, because Shaquille Griffin is definitely a proven corner. He's a good corner in this league. Not a great corner, but a good corner, formidable. And he's a dude that I think will challenge Pickens in certain areas if he gets to match up with him. I still think that Pickens should be able to win his fair share, but I want to see what it looks like versus a guy that's fundamentally sound, a guy that's consistent, and a guy that's just more proven. I think that he's further along as a starting corner than Levi Wallace, than a Cam Sutton and a Kello Witherspoon. And not saying that those 3 guys haven't already put together dope situations in their own careers respectively, but I do think Shaquille is a little bit further along in that process of being a proven guy that plays outside, snapping, every snap and stuff like that, man. So that's one of them dudes that I would like to see George get a chance to match up with.
I'm thinking, in terms of matchups and stuff, with Jacksonville, I'm a little bit past that. I'm more focused on, there are good matchups. I mean, we kind of hinted on them a little bit. I am excited for matchups, but I'm pretty locked into this left guard battle.
Ooh.
They're saying Kendrick Green's going to start.
Mm-hmm.
But
think about this, bro.
I heard what Tomlin said. It's just more based off his availability up to this point.
I'm like, if Dotson has missed about a week of practice, Dotson's back now. But this other guy has been here. He played in the games. He hasn't missed any practices. He's been out there for all that good, bad, and ugly. He's had some good plays. He's had some bad plays. But it's like, bro, this is a competition, and you're telling us all that it's a competition, and this dude hasn't been in the competition for a whole week. How the heck you just put him out there and put him at the one spot? But once again, this is Dotson's doing in the sense of, he can't control him being injured or not, but it's just doing in the sense that because he wasn't available, he has left the door open. And this is the exact same conversation as the Devin Bush conversation. It's just we feel more confident and we believe that Dotson can put this to bed once he is out there fully healthy competing. With both of these dudes, though, it's like, man, you left that door open. And now Kendrick has an opportunity. If Kendrick goes out here and plays well, now you over here like, okay, what's going to happen in this third preseason game? That's, where you get to when it's at this stage and you still have left that door open, whether it be from your performance or just from you not being out there. And in this case, it was, the latter, him not being out there.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be locked in. This is going to be the one scenario where I'm probably going to be studying some offensive line.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. But they got, like I said, it'd be still good, though, for Kendrick, man. When you talk about some of these these bigger body dudes on the interior line, man. Excuse me. So like I said, man, they low key got a nice little roster down there, man.
Yeah.
They low key got a nice little roster down there, man. Like I was sleeping on them until I started like obviously watching a little bit more of them and looking into their roster. I'm like, okay, all right.
How about running back 2? I'm seeing some tweets that are saying like Jaylen Warren has supplanted Benny Snell.
I saw that as well.
So if Najee Harris doesn't play, you're gonna get either Benny Snell or Jaylen Warren. I don't know how they're gonna divvy it up for actual game time here against some pretty good linebackers, against a pretty good defense. At least you're gonna see number ones that are gonna be competing out there.
Now we're gonna get a chance to see with both of those dudes. More importantly with Jaylen Warren, because I do still feel confident. Benny Snell, I think this is more so just when you talk about availability, this is a part of it. The same way with Kendrick Green, this is just a part of it. If you're available, if you've been there, Coach T is going to get that dude that opportunity unless it's a scenario where it's a Minkah Fitzpatrick, a Tyson Alualu, some of those caliber guys, right? So with this, though, man, with Jaylen Warren, it'll be interesting to see, number one, what's your blitz pickup look like versus starters, versus true NFL ones, proven players. What's your ball carrying look like, your ball security look like versus guys that are actually hunting that ball. When you talk about ones, it's a mentality. A lot of ones understand that part of the game. You got to hunt that football. So it's like, what does that look like? Talk about just the speed. What he saw last week, that's going to be a lot slower. It's going to look a lot slower compared to this week when you're out there with that top unit. And that's the other part for Kenny, why you want to evaluate him. No, we're not talking about him right now, but just in that sense of when you go out there with that next unit that's up in competition, the speed increases because the players are better. The players know what they're doing. It's just a crispness, and it's a lot more of that part. So for Jaylen, I'm also interested to see how he handles that type of stuff.
Hey, how about Jacksonville released that quarterback that actually, he played against us, but also he was playing in that Hall of Fame game? Luton. Jake Luton. He's not even on the team anymore.
Yeah, I know CJ's.
So I'm looking on this depth chart. I'm like, where's Luton? I was expecting him to see it.
Luton was like in
the
little game, man. Got a little showing, got a little decent.
They got CJ Beathard and they got EJ Perry.
EJ?
At the third spot.
When did they sign EJ?
I don't know. Maybe.
What?
You think they did it recently?
Let me see.
Hold
on.
Earlier in the offseason.
No. It might have been. No, because he's up here. I overlooked him. Yeah, I saw Trevor Lawrence and I looked at CJ Beathard. I never looked at who the third guy was.
Oh, no. Look at this. Here's what happened. They did the old switcheroo.
So this is recent then.
Jaguars waive EJ Perry July 24th.
Okay.
August 9th, Jaguars add EJ Perry.
Okay. Because I was like, bro, I would have.
Houdini.
I thought we would have known if EJ was, because that was one of the dudes who was on our radar.
Yeah, EJ Perry action.
He was on our radar, man. Heck yeah, man. If EJ. Yo.
Mason versus EJ Perry in the second half.
Oh my gosh, that makes it a lot more interesting now. I need that. I need that matchup just because of all the time we spent talking about EJ this offseason, man.
Just to add the fourth guy on practice squad.
Oh my god. Yeah, we got to watch EJ. Absolutely.
EJ Perry could be like a backup for us down the line.
He's like the Ryan Fitzpatrick of this thing.
Right.
Man.
It's basically what we're talking about with like Oladokin.
Yeah.
And having him like carve out a role for the future as being a backup.
That is funny, man. That's dope right there.
I want to check this line because I think from what I remember, they got Steelers plus 3.5, which I don't know. I think I got to hit that, man. Are you giving us some points?
I mean, it sounds about right, huh?
It's not like we're going to be sitting a ton of dudes either.
No, we playing our dudes. We compete.
Well, as weird as it sounds, too, I
Boy,
mean, you got to think about this stuff. We're going to have the advantage at the quarterback position the whole way through after Lawrence and Trubisky go down. Because you could just say that's a wash. Now, if you think Lawrence is better, that's fine. I'd actually probably agree with you, but let's just say it's a wash for a preseason game. They're only going to get a few series, right?
Yeah.
But then I think we're going to have the advantage with Pickett coming in and then Mason.
Okay.
If they're going to have Beathard and E.J. Perry, we should have the better QB play down the stretch, I think.
Yeah, we should.
So that would make that plus 3.5 a pretty decent bet. Now, is our run defense going to get carved up again?
Man, there is zero chance I'm ever betting on a preseason game, bro. I seen what the you know what the fourth quarter in the preseason game look like, bro.
Makes
I ain't
it fun.
with it. Fourth quarter preseason game, Lord have mercy.
Plus 2.5? Yeah, so we're still getting points. Money line is plus 115 to win it outright.
Go ahead, take the points, man.
Plus 2.5 is bad. 'Cause, I mean, if you win, it's going to be 3. Yeah. Plus 2.5 is bad.
Yeah.
Or no. Well, yeah, no. If Jacksonville, that's what I mean. If Jacksonville won by 3, I'd still lose.
Yeah.
I might take that plus 115 though. What about the quarterbacks? Kenny's getting the second team now.
Yeah.
Do you have any takes or thoughts on how you think it's going to play out?
No, I hope it plays out well for him though. You know, because I think that makes it more interesting for all of us going into that final preseason game. I kind of like this thing still being a little, just leave it a little open, just a little bit. I want it to matter a little bit more in that third one. I don't want that third one to be like, oh, it's officially locked up. Even though it probably would be best for the team, I'm just being selfish here. I'm like, yo, can we just keep just one more week, pretty please? But I honestly don't know, man. I don't know because I can see this going a couple of ways. I can see, you know, our quarterbacks versus their DBs and us being able to have some success, making it look interesting. I could also see a scenario where we are under duress and we can't protect these quarterbacks. That's the other thing I'm thinking about, especially for Mitch. Whoever's out there with that first unit, I'm like, that Jaguars front, man, even last year, they were able to get after the quarterback. That was something that they could do consistently. Then you bring on Travon Walker, and I'm just like, we're going to really find out about our O-line. That's for me, I'm like, I'm excited, but low-key kind of like, ooh, I hope this is, you know, I hope the money shows up.
This is maybe why we keep the 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, because if I'm looking and it gets like what it could be like, then I don't think any of these quarterbacks are going to look as good as they could look.
Well, yeah, we don't want anyone to get injured either.
Yeah, that too. Definitely want to get injured, but just in the sense of like, think about how it looked at times with Kenny out there last week where he's running for his life. Think about at that last drive for Mason where you started was like, yo, this is getting out of hand here. I could see a scenario, man, where the Jags front is able to have some of that type of success against our offensive line, especially when we start subbing dudes out as well. Because when they bring in some of their dudes in, it's like, oh, no, these are still quality players. For us, we're like, all right, now we're getting back to what we had last year. It's a little different. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what we want at all.
Yeah.
So, it actually, even though you don't want to just throw someone out there, but Pickett's mobility could be an X factor in terms of helping win the quarterback competition because we might need it.
Yeah, it could help him or it could hurt him.
I mean, Trubisky does have decent mobility, though, too, yeah. I think he even flashed it in the first preseason game.
He definitely did. And let me clarify when I say it can help him or it can hurt him.
Yeah,
the thing
I didn't
that I mean is
that.
this. With mobile quarterbacks, it's the gift and the curse. Some take it and they don't understand how to move smartly with it, and they get themselves into trouble. We talked about Malik Willis. Instead of just reading and getting rid of the ball, he tries to do it with his legs. Talked about the 2 hits that Kenny took last week, and it's like, yo, you got to know when to try to win with your legs and when to get rid of the ball. What's more important, you trying to outrun this guy but getting caught and slammed on your head by the goal line, or you throwing that ball where we live to play another down? Whereas with Mitch, you don't see Mitch take a lot of that because it's the difference of just understanding that, yes, I'm mobile, but I'm also smart. I know when to get rid of that ball. I know how to escape. I know when I need to try to beat this defender and when I just need to live to play another down. Or live to play another day. That's the stuff what I mean by with like some of these athletic quarterbacks. That was one of the things that we would even talk about with a guy like Michael Vick, for example. We would say, man, when you have these mobile quarterbacks, because they're able to extend plays a lot of times, man, you're able to get them because they're doing too much. They're always thinking like, oh, I can get it. I got time. I can make this happen. And it'll get them into trouble at times, versus the guys that aren't quote unquote as mobile. They're not trying to do all that extra stuff. They're just be like, all right, look, man, get to the next play. And that's some of the stuff where for Kenny, it's like just understanding that and learning that part because that will catch up to him otherwise. Yeah.
What's the scenario or scenarios that leave this thing open? Is it Mitch struggling?
No,
or is it even Mitch playing good, but Kenny lighting it up?
Kenny would have to light it. If Kenny,
no matter what Mitch does.
Yeah, if Kenny plays well, regardless of what Mitch does, I think it's still a conversation because of the momentum, because of the 20th overall selection. If Kenny looks okay or average, I think that it kind of ends the debate, and it'll be Mitch. He'll be the guy going in.
He'll be sitting next week.
Yeah, he'll be sitting or playing the series next week. Like I think it'll be like that. But it's Kenny's in control. I think that Mason had that opportunity last week, and even though he played well, I still don't think it was enough of that wow to really keep him legitimately in that QB1 conversation. I think for him, he would have to go out there and really like 2-3 touchdown passes type thing, like just look freaky, like look like the season finale against the Browns from 3 years ago. It would have to look like that. If it looks like that, Mason's right back in that conversation because he's with the threes. But if it doesn't, if it looks just okay, if it looks decent, it's like, bro, we're not gonna go back to that. But for Kenny, he can make that move, but he's gonna have to like light it up. I think if he looks really good, and even if it's not even him throwing touchdown passes, but he executes drives where they move the ball and we end up scoring, and he just looks the part. He looks like he's in command of that offense. I think that keeps him in that discussion, but he can't like plateau. He can't plateau and he can't look bad. If it's either one of those, then yeah, I think that they go with Mitch as the safer option.
I'm wondering with Mason if he plays good, that's more for the trade, like the showcase.
Yes.
So that's why I'm thinking with Mason, maybe his fate is actually more determined on Mitch and Kenny. Because if he plays good and Mitch and Kenny play good, we're back to the whole storyline from last week, right?
No, see, I don't think we would be, though, because the storyline would be changed because now Kenny has looked good against the twos and backup starters. Whereas for
no, that's what I'm talking about, though, in terms of like Mason's expendable.
Oh, okay, and that's
But if Mason plays really good and Mitch and Kenny struggle, now Mason's back. So that's why I mean, like, I think Mason's just determined on what Mitch and Kenny do.
I see what you're saying there. I do. I just think that the way that they're looking at this thing is like Mitch is the guy right now, and Kenny's the only one that's gonna get an opportunity to really make that strong of a case right now to move up.
Even if Mitch and Kenny struggle and Mason plays really good,
because what this the at the end of the day we're gonna say, man, this Jaguars defense is a lot better than any of this other stuff. And once again, who was out there with who? Mitch was out there with the ones. Kenny was out there with the twos, and now you have Mason out there with the threes. Mason, you should look good out there with the threes. That's going to be their response. That's going to be how they talk about it. And then they're going to coach up and critique the Kenny and Mitch struggles. They'll say, hey, look, this is why you want to see these guys out here, but it's not just their play. Look at the O-line. Look at this guy. He has to win this one-on-one. Look at that over there. And that'll be that approach with it, man.
So you think there's no hope for him on the Steelers?
I don't think that there's no hope. I just think that it's very, very tough. Like, he would have to go out there and really, like, do something special. And I'm not saying that he's not capable of that, but it's just a probability thing for me. I just don't know how probable that is right now.
Anything else you wanted to hit on? Key players you're watching?
No, like I said, for me, man, I'm just excited to see.
I want to see Gunner again.
Ooh,
if Gunner can keep that up.
Okay.
Pickett's been talking about him being a really good safety valve. He knows where to be. Can he prove that he's more than just a return man?
Oh, no, I got a couple, actually. I do want to see I want to see Connor Hayward again. Can you replicate what you did last week? Because that was pretty dope. I want to see him replicate that. The next person I would want to see is Damonte Casey. Can he continue with the physicality? The tackling, that part, not shying away from it, because that was interesting last week. I want to see that continue. And then the other dude, man, my man Trey Norwood. He's putting together, like I said, he put together a really nice training camp while they were out there at Latrobe. Obviously, we liked how he played in the game. That it was very productive, flew around, looked confident. So I just want to see what that looks like. Can you continue to build on that? Have another one of them games where you're just flying around looking really good out there.